Hey y'all, it's Savannah and this is Savannah Says. So today I'm here to talk to you about a book called Twisted Love by Huang. And this is a contemporary romance about a girl named Ava and she falls in love with her best friend. About a girl named Ava who falls in love with her brother's best friend. And that's all I knew going into it, but now that I've read it, I just have to talk about it to someone because when I say this book is bonkers, it's bonkers. So this book is about a girl. Her name is Ava. She's 22. She comes from a wealthy lifestyle. Basically, her father was rich, and she lives in the same housing complex as her brother. And her brother is a med student, and he's going on this internship to Central America, so he's gonna be gone for a year. And his best friend's name is Alex, and Alex is also wealthy, extremely wealthy, and he is the CEO of his own company. And so the brother named Josh asks Alex if he can keep an eye on Ava because she has night terrors that stem from her problematic childhood. She had a really rough childhood, and so Alex is I'm not a babysitter, but sure, I'll watch your fucking sister for you. And obviously Alex is really hot because this wouldn't be a story if he wasn't hot, right? Basically, Ava and her friends have this little operation called Operation Emotion because Alex is kind of like a cyborg. He's very stoic. He's very closed off. He's not someone who ever has relationships. He kind of only uses women for sex, and he explicitly says multiple times that he doesn't do face-to-face or kissing when he's having sex because it's strictly a physical thing for him. He does not want to have emotions tied into it. And the reason that he feels that way is because when he was younger, well, we find out that he feels this way because when he was younger, his family was murdered in a burglary gone wrong. And so he kind of just spends all of his time obsessing over that, and he wants to catch the person responsible because his father was a wealthy businessman, again, wealth, and he thinks that the person who put a hit on his family / burgled their house is a competitor. So he's basically spent his entire adult life seeking that person, and so he can't get caught up in a relationship until that's done. So Anna, oh god, okay, just to preface, if I call this girl Anna, I'm not changing it. The author's name is Anna and the character's name is Ava, and I'm not going to correct myself. Ava and her friends fail at trying to make Alex show emotion. There's obviously a connection between her and him. They kind of, in their POV chapters, talk about how they think the other person is attractive, but Ava won't go there because she knows that Alex probably doesn't like her back, and also it's her brother's best friend, and that's kind of the reason Alex won't go there. He just doesn't have time for a relationship. Eventually they start to form a bond, they start hanging out. He helps her with her trauma, which all of her childhood trauma stems from the fact that her mother tried to kill her. Her mother, when she was 5, they had a lake in their backyard, and her mother pushed her into the lake and almost let her drown because her parents were going through a messy divorce, and the mom just kind of lost her mind. And then she died by suicide, which I can accept that as a plot point because it feels a little dramatic, but that's fine. So Ava has all these night terrors and stuff because she's a repressed memory, and sometimes I guess these nightmares come from her remembering these things. And eventually, things start heating up and they kiss. And it's kind of we can never kiss again. I know we're having heated emotions or whatever, but we can't let it go here. Ava's basically look, I know you don't really get into relationships with people, and I know that you don't get intimate during sex, but maybe I like being dirty. Maybe I like bad boy. Maybe I like that. Maybe I want you to do that to me. Because apparently Alex's current woman has cornered Ava at this party, and she tells Ava that Alex likes dirty, he likes it rough, and he will never get with a girl like you because you're too innocent. And then this girl tries to drown her, which is when Alex comes in, saves her, and they kiss. So she's kind of hey, I know that you like rough sex, but I'm telling you that I want that with you. So they have sex, and then at this point, this is the 170 page mark. And so I'm thinking, okay, this book is 370 pages. So we've got at least another half and then some to go. So are they gonna be together the whole time? They are. They get together after they have sex for the first time. This is where the book lost to me because they start a relationship in public, which is weird because up until this point, the characterization for Alex has been that he's not that kind of person. And so now he is. He's dating Ava, which is fine. It's fine. But while they're dating, they go home to her house for Thanksgiving because they've been going to her house for Thanksgiving her entire since Josh became friends with Alex, they've been going to her house for Thanksgiving. And her whole life, she's been like not really that close with her dad, and that's the only parent she has left. Now that her brother's not there to be like the buffer, it's just an awkward dinner. At this Thanksgiving dinner, her memory comes back and she realizes that her dad is the person who tried to kill her. Her memories come back and she finds out that her dad is the one who tried to kill her. The dad tries to kill her, which is like, so the mom, I guess, knew that the dad tried to kill her and thus died by suicide because she was emotionally distraught by that. I'm not really sure, but we find that out. And then like the next chapter, we find out that the random people who killed Alex's family were not random. And this whole time he thought that it was Josh and Ava's dad who tried to kill his family because their dads were rivals. And so that is the whole reason why he befriended Josh, but then they really became friends and he could never like exact his revenge plan because they truly were friends. And then now he's really in love with Ava, so he doesn't want to like ruin her life, but now her dad's a piece of shit, so he's like more eager to ruin his life. So he goes to his uncle's house to like put the plan in motion, and then he's like searching through his uncle's stuff, and then come to find out the uncle is the one who killed his family. It like literally, when I tell you, it like jumped the rails so fucking fast. I was like, whoa. First the dad's a murderer of his own children, and then the uncle tries to murder his brother's family, but he's like all the while coaching his nephew on how to get rid of someone else, even though he's the true murderer.
But you did this for what?
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Why though?
What? We cut to Ava trying to get her dad to admit that he did this, and the dad basically says like, yeah, I tried to kill you, I tried to drown you, and then your mom caught on, but all I had to do was like basically gaslight the shit out of you as a child and say like, oh, you smelled your mom's perfume, this and that, and like implicate the mother so that the dad wouldn't go to prison. And he basically says he did all this because the mom was cheating on him, and that is how she got pregnant with Ava, and that Josh is his true biological child, which is why he tried to get them split up. Like he tried to take custody of Josh and leave Ava with the mom, but I guess he was just too angry to do that. No, what happened was he got the mom implicated in murder because the courts would never give, he said the courts would never give the kids to the father unless something drastic happened. So because of all of this, he thinks that it was a good idea to try to kill the kid that was not actually his kid. So then like when she was in 3rd grade, apparently, while they're having this conversation, she remembers a memory. She's like, you tried to kill me a second time when I was in 3rd grade. And he was like, no, I didn't. She was like, are you trying to gaslight me? And he was like, you're right. I did try to kill you when you were in 3rd grade. I tried to smother you with the fucking pillow because your brother wasn't home yet. But he came home too soon, and so I couldn't do it. And ever since then, I was just thinking like, oh, I might never be alone with her again like this, so I can't kill her. I just have to ignore her. And I'm like, what? It literally went from being like a brother's best friend romance to like the parents are murdering the kids. Like, huh? The dad gets arrested because they're in DC, and apparently in DC you can record someone admitting to a crime without their consent and use that in the court of law. So the dad goes to prison without bail, and Alex is like comforting Ava, and then he can't tell her that he's now trying to kill his uncle for whatever reason. I don't know why he feels like he can't tell her this, but he says if he tells her this, she won't love him anymore, which at this point, I'm sure that's not true. But skip ahead into now Ava and her friend have been kidnapped by Alex's uncle. And during this kidnapping scene, he basically is like, you need to admit that you love her and I'll let her go. And he's like, I don't fucking love her. Like, I was just using her to get to the brother, to get to the father. And now that I know the father never killed him, I know it was you. Like, I have no use for her anymore. And so Ava's standing there looking like, what's happening? Alex kills the uncle after it being revealed that the whole reason the uncle killed their family is because the uncle was in love with Alex's mom, and the mom didn't want anything to do with him because she was obviously in love with her husband, who was the brother. And she told her husband that uncle was being fucking weird, and so husband cut off relations with uncle, and uncle didn't like that, so he killed them. I'm not really sure where the justification for these murders is coming from, but it makes no fucking sense. So he kills the family. Obviously, subsequently, Alex kills the uncle, and he frees Ava and her friend and the friend's bodyguard because the friend is a princess. she's a princess to like this small European country, which isn't really important in this story, but like friend has a bodyguard, they escape, and then basically Ava's kind of like, well, I can't be with him anymore because he used me to get to my father, which isn't true, but he said that, so she thinks it's true. So she signs up for this like photography internship because she's a photography student, and she gets like this prestige internship, and she goes to London. Going to London was never really in the cards for her because she had a fear of water because she almost drowned as a child. But throughout her time with Alex, she like learned how to swim and all this other stuff, which is how they got really, really close. And so she goes to London because she's like, I just need to be off of this fucking continent. I need to be someplace new, which I understand. She goes to London, and then Alex shows up and he's like, I lied. I'm actually in love with you. Take me back. And she's like, no. So then he spends the next year through time jumps trying to get her back, and then they get back together, and then the book ends. I gave this 3 stars on Goodreads, and on the Savannah scale, which by the way, I'm gonna start doing a Savannah scale because I made a whole video about how I rate things, and I don't know if it's up yet, but I realized that just using the Goodreads model is not good enough for me. So the Goodreads scale, I gave it 3 stars, and Savannah scale, I'm going to give it 4 because I would have given it 5 because I was like into it, and I was into like their dynamics as like a couple until they had sex, and then it got weird because it was like, I'm not seeing the background. Like there wasn't enough basis or groundwork for them to be that in love that soon, to me personally. And then like it really took a left with like all the murder plots. I'm like, 1 murder plot is enough. I don't know, we don't need 2. And then it's really 3. It was really 4, honestly, if you count trying to kill the dad, then killing the uncle, then trying to kill Ava twice, and killing the family. It was like way too much murder going on for me. And normally I'm fine with that, but like there's nothing about this book that is signifying that it's going to be about murder plots. Like it's literally just like, supposed to be a romance. So I was like taken aback by that. It just got too ridiculous for me. It got too ridiculous, which is why I had to give it a 3/4 star. And it is a series, which I will not be fucking reading. It's like a series of standalones, and every couple in the next couple of books is like one of Ava's friends. So the next book is about her friend Bridget, who is the princess and the bodyguard, which I will be reading that one because I want to know. Bodyguard romances are always hot, and I want to know. And she's going to be queen too. Like that's revealed that she's going to be the queen, so like definitely want to know. So I will be reading that one, but the other 2, I don't care. I'm done with this. It was too much for me, and I know saying that something was too much for me has gone too far. Let me know how y'all feel about that plot, because I feel kind of betrayed, and I want to know how everybody else feels. So leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and tell me your thoughts, and I'll get back to you and see you next time. Bye.